The forest area in the US during that time was about 754 million acres, equivalent to about 306
Then
million
establish the back
hectares.
cut with a long
This
cross-cut saw.
represents about one-third of the country's
Steel
land
wedges.
area. Logging in the US in the 1940s was a challenging and laborious process with mainly hand tools such as axes and saws. This required workers to have strength and high perseverance. During the logging process, workers had to venture into the forest, search for large and healthy trees to fell. Then they had to cut, remove branches, and pull the logs out of the forest area. Can you see that? How is it possible for him to climb up such a tall tree without any support from any device? Clearly, the strength of humans during this logging era was used for more efficiently than ever. At the same time, the risks during this time were also extremely high due to the lack of safety equipment during work. You can see that cutting a large piece of wood with a small handsaw is a big challenge in this job. The remaining logs will be split by the woodworker into small planks and arranged into piles waiting to be transported. It seems like he's doing his job very well. Early logging equipment was very primitive. As you can see, the excavator working in the forest area. Its job is to level the ground and create a small road to easily transport the timber from the high mountain down to the ground. The excavator used during this time was powered by a steam engine. It looks very crude, but it was an important piece of equipment for logging during that period.
Here the rail cars are having their loads lifted off and dropped into tidewater for booming and towing.
In the 1940s, transporting wood by river was one of the primary methods of logging in the United States. Major rivers were utilized to transport wood from forests to processing plants
Here
or
the
docks.
loggers are building
Many
the floor of the
forests in
Davis
the
Rapid,
US were
was
located near
necessary in
rivers or
those
coastal
days to
areas,
move-
and the use of waterways and sea routes helped to save transportation costs and minimize terrain issue. Additionally, the use of waterways and sea routes facilitated faster and more efficient wood transportation, meeting the demand of wood production and consuming during the economic growth and urbanization of the US in the 1940s and the 1950s. During this period, a common method of transporting timber was to use a primitive cable system to haul it into trains. Large forests were harvested by felling trees and pulling them using simple cables and equipment. The timber was then arranged into piles and hauled by trains to gathering yards or paper mills. After the wood is harvested and transported by river or train, it is brought to the factory. But how is the wood processed into paper? Let's take a look at this process. After the wood arrives at the factory, it will be processed and undergo preliminary treatment to remove any rough outer layers before being used in production. Steam-powered cranes will lift each piece of wood onto the production line, where it will be sawn into predetermined sizes. Once cut, the individual planks will be removed from the conveyor belt and set to the grinding machines. The wood pulp to paper process in 1945 was highly advanced with the use of a 3-engine 3,600 horsepower paper-making machine. Paper production was an important and rapidly growing industry during this time. Wood after grinding will also undergo a testing process to meet the standards before being put into mass production. Sulfite pulp is a type of paper pulp produced using sulfite method. The process of producing sulfite pulp begins by cooking wood with the sulfite solution to remove lignin and other impurities. Then the wood is ground into a pulp and mixed with water to form sulfite pulp. The sulfite pulp is then treated with chemicals to achieve the desired physical and chemical properties. Sulfite pulp is commonly used to produce paper with high gloss, smoothness, and good whiteness. After the drying process, each sheet of paper is formed through a rotating motor reel in the factory. Although the equipment during this period mainly used a steam engine and was not as efficient as today, it was an important device for the economic development of the United States during the 1945s. 250 tons of paper, after produced, were loaded into ship compartments and transported to major media centers in the US such as New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. The final stage will be for journalists to compress and print news articles that will be distributed across the entire country. What do you think about the process of logging and processing wood during this period? Leave your comments below our video and don't forget to share it with your friends. Goodbye and see you in the next video.